Commissioner Vandermeulen,
Present.
Commissioner Murphy,
Here.
Commissioner Edsel,
Here.
Vice Chair Davidson,
Here.
Chair Lamone.
Here. Great, thank you. Okay, now I'll ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Davidson is going to lead us.
Hands over your heart and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, so now I want to just comment how beautiful the new chambers are. And thank you to the staff and everyone at the city who worked to make sure that we have this benefit for our city. We'll go on to the consent calendar. The next item is, or on the consent calendar, we have the meeting minutes from our last meeting. And I believe that is it. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Can you please call for a vote?
All right, Commissioner Edsel,
Yes.
Vice Chair Davidson,
Yes.
Chair Lamone,
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandermeulen.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to public comment for items that are not listed on tonight's agenda. I don't see any speakers, but I want to make sure that there aren't any. Okay, great. And we do have a public comment that came in through email. Is that right? So,
Yes, that's correct.
um,
It was distributed to the planning commissioners.
okay, yeah, I see it here, actually. Okay, so it's regarding the rent and space stabilization ordinance proposal. And this was submitted by Elizabeth and Jeff Martinez de Morga Paluga. Would the staff like to comment on this public comment that we received?
Since the item's not on the agenda, we don't have a comment.
Okay, thank you. And there are no other comments, so we will move on to our public hearing agendized items. The first is the Landmark Committee training.
Thank you, Chair Lamone. This training will be presented by our Associate Planner, Melissa Beebe.
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. We're going to go over the duties and abilities of the Landmark Committee, as well as some general information on historic preservation to prepare for the first ever meeting of the Camarillo Landmark Committee on May 6th. The city's historic preservation section of the municipal code does several things, including defining terms like landmark and historic preservation, establishing that the Planning Commission acts as the Landmark Committee, stating the powers and duties of the Landmark Committee, and outlining procedures for the designation of landmarks and for approval of permits for work affecting landmarks. A historic resource is a building, property, or area that is important to the history, architecture, archaeology, or culture of a community, state, or nation. It may be by association with significant events or activities, association with important people, distinctive physical characteristics, or potential to yield important information. A historic resource can be designated at the federal, state, or local level. The federal level is the National Register of Historic Places. The state level is the California Register of Historical Resources. And the local level is Ventura and Camarillo's Register of Landmarks. Camarillo does not have any properties designated yet. Each register has its own criteria that historic resources must meet in order to be added to that register. Camarillo's municipal code uses historic resources as a general term to refer to buildings and structures of historical significance to the city, which may be recommended for designation as landmarks. And the municipal code defines landmarks as buildings and structures of significant historical importance, which have received the designation of landmark by resolution of the City Council, and whose demolition or destruction would constitute an irreplaceable loss to the quality and character of the city. These are the terms used by the city, but other organizations may use other terms to describe properties listed for historic preservation. I will be using the city's definitions for the rest of this presentation. A historic resource may be designated as a landmark in Camarillo if it meets one or more of the following criteria. It is associated with people or events significant in local, state, or national history. It reflects or exemplifies a particular period of local, state, or national history. It embodies the distinctive characteristics of a type, style, or period of architecture, or a method of construction. An application for landmark designation may be made by the property owner, landmark committee, planning commission, or city council. The landmark committee provides a recommendation to city council based on the criteria we discussed in the previous slide. And within 30 days of receiving the recommendation, the city council must approve or deny the landmark designation. After being designated as a landmark, approval from the landmark committee is required before any construction, alteration, restoration, relocation, or demolition of the landmark can occur. The committee must hold a public hearing to approve or deny the permit application, but for ordinary repair and maintenance that does not involve a change in the design, material, or external appearance of the landmark, the community development director can provide that approval instead. The owner, occupant, or person in charge of the landmark must keep all exterior portions in good repair. Let's look at some examples. So the Camarillo Ranch House, which was registered in the National Register of Historic Places in 2003, due to its association with Adolfo Camarillo, a very influential person in Ventura County history, as well as the house being what the register describes as an outstanding example of its period and style of architecture. It's also registered in the Ventura County Register of Landmarks. The eucalyptus trees along Highway 101 east of Lewis Road were planted in 1892 as a windbreak for the Camarillo Ranch and were designated as a historical landmark by the county in 1978. The St. Mary Magdalene Church in Old Town was built in 1913 and designated as a historical landmark by the county in 1972. Built as a chapel for the Camarillo family, it became a parish church in 1940. The next meeting of the Landmark Committee will be for the Sholey Farmhouse, located near Highway 101 and Springville Drive. The developer is required to rehabilitate the house to satisfy an environmental mitigation measure, which was required for approval of the Lennar Homes housing development, which is where the farmhouse is located. The rehabilitation plans have been reviewed by historical architects to confirm that they comply with the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation. The developer is also required to request a landmark designation from the city as a mitigation measure for the Lennar Homes project. The Sholey Farmhouse is associated with events that have made a significant contribution to the broad patterns of history and cultural heritage in Ventura County, in particular the agricultural development of the Springville area. It's also a rare example of a late 19th century Italianate cottage, which is directly associated with the agricultural history of Ventura County and the German community in the Springville and Pleasant Valley areas. This project will be brought forward and discussed in detail at the next meeting, where you will be making a recommendation on this project, so you can all think about our landmark criteria in the meantime. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Commissioners, any questions from staff?
Is the criteria posted online?
Yes, it's in our municipal code, which is available online.
Municipal code, okay, thank you.
Are these properties tied into the Mills Act at all? Or is that totally separate for another type of historic properties?
If a property is listed as a landmark, it is then eligible for a Mills Act contract after it's been listed.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, great, thank you. And this, well, thank you so much for your presentation. This item does not require any action, so we will move on to the next item, which is the assignment of the Architecture Committee. We have two commissioners who generously volunteered to staff the committee, Commissioners Vandermeulen and Murphy. So they are appointed to serve on the committee. Great. And
No objections?
I have no objection.
I
Okay.
have no objection,
I wholeheartedly support the appointments.
Yeah.
and I wholeheartedly accept.
Yeah. Same.
thank you for your service. Okay, and that closes the public hearing, and we'll go on to the director's report.
Just a brief report this evening. We have an item trending for the next Planning Commission meeting, as well as an item trending for the next Landmark Committee meeting.
Great. Any questions? All right, moving on. The next item is for commissioner comments. Does any commissioner have a comment?
Just that it's nice to be back in City Hall, and the library was nice, and we were guests of them, but this is nice to have it, and the nice remodel. So looking forward to serving in this location again.
Me too. It's an impressive looking remodel. Very nice.
Yeah, the remodel's nice. It's nice that we're all here for a change too, to open our meetings in the new auditorium. And have to really thank the city for all that went into the remodel to put into this. It's a lot.
Great, thank you. Yeah, thank you again for all of your service and ensuring that we're always prepared for these meetings. Okay, well, seeing no further comments, we will adjourn. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.